everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Garcia's Got Talent. Today, I'm with my co-host, Julio.
Hi.
Marsusaf Tatay.
Hello, hola, Jigadora.
And the new recruit, Nanay.
Hi.
Today, we're gonna be bringing you a dish all the way from Peru. It's called con polo peruviano, Peruvian rice with chicken. So, where does Arroz con polo peruviano come from? Well, the basis of its recipe hails from Spain, and it's certainly a dish that has put down roots firmly in all of the former Spanish colonies across Latin America, each country putting its own stamp on it according to the local cuisine and available ingredients. It was actually delivered from the Iberian Peninsula, paella, which we cooked in the season finale of season 1 of the Garcia's Got Talent when we were in Western Europe. And now we're gonna go into the history of Peru with Lucas Bantoto. Take it away.
Hello, viewers of Joaquin and Julio's podcast. Today I'm going to be explaining the history of the country Peru in South America. Peru is a country in the west of the Americas and in the Andean Mountains. Peru is mostly known for its history since people existed there since 9000 BC, very long time. So, they were a country by the North Tickle River Valley civilization, and they had many architectural structures made of stone, and civilization was mostly mountains, rivers, and deserts, which had a lot of rich history. Peru was home to Machu Picchu and the Incas, which began in the 11th century. The Incas had a polytheistic faith and strange customs. The reason why I say strange is not just because they're polytheistic, because it's some rules that the Incans have, such as sacrifice, like really hardcore religious Christians. So the Incas were very hardcore with their god. So if they want something, they're willing to sacrifice a child to worship the god. And fun fact, the Machu Picchu was made for the king of the Incas to stay in on a 2,440-foot mountain. But since the discovery of the New World, many Europeans came to invade mass areas of South America for, I don't know, gold, I guess. In 1532, the Spanish led by Francisco Pizarro invaded the Incan Empire, and most of the old culture died out due to the Spanish people and the church. In the 1570s, a man named Francisco de Toledo reorganized the country, but not in the way you think. He reorganized the country by making it a Spanish viceroyalty, and used so many slaves to harvest tons of gold and silver, and give it all to the Spanish government. Well done. And nearly every city was Christianized, and this really proves the bad things the church has done. Although I'm not saying the church is bad. The church did force people to be Christian in Latin America. In the 17th century, there were the Bourbon reforms. The Bourbon reforms were made due to a struggling economy. This increased the taxes heavily on the locals and made a more dictatorial government. And because of this, South America was full of revolutions, but they were all sustained, and Peru decided to stay with the viceroyalty. Simon Bolivar was a man who wanted to get rid of the Spanish and had full ability by most South American countries of their own militaries. With the help of Antonio José de Sucre, Peru fully gained independence on July 28, 1824, but Peru was divided into Peru and Alto Peru. Alto Peru became Bolivia. Peru had a stable economic structure for a few decades, but due to the depletion of their vast resources, Peru got in debt. In 1879, the Pacific War, Peru got into a war with Chile and lost a portion of their ports. But turns out Peru managed to stay good in the situation because the Civilista Party managed to help them reform back into their original state. And because of the Great Depression, they still managed to survive. In 1929, the Treaty of Lima was signed by Chile and Peru to give back Tacna, a territory lost during the Pacific War. On October 31, 1945, Peru was admitted to the UN. Peru was one of the neutral countries in the First World War, not really doing much. But because of the Cold War and the United States CIA and terrorists, Peru was threatened into major minor wars because the United States and the Soviet Union just had to argue about their issues. Now, Peru remains to have a stable economy, and although they were part of the Amazon rainforest burning, they still survived. So, Peru is known for mountain ranges, Machu Picchu, llamas, the Incan history, the Amazon rainforest, most gold, history, and wildlife. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on this podcast again.
Thank you, Lucas. You are awesome, bro. And now we're gonna be talking about some Peruvian culture. Now, here's one thing. When you go to Peru, hospitality and friendliness is one of the key core things in Peru. Like, you're gonna be greeted with a happy welcome. Although they're gonna invite you to your house. Yeah. And also another important thing in Peruvian culture is family. Family is the most important thing in Peru. They're the ones who help you and remain loyal to you. And they have a strong sense of kinship. And actually, the largest religion in Peru is Catholicism in Peru, because it was colonized by Spain, which was Catholic. So a large percent of it is Catholic, obviously. So and another and a fun fact is that on New Year's Day, they basically eat 12 grapes for the month, and they wear yellow underwear. And another thing that's strange is that guinea pigs aren't pets; they're food delicacies. And an interesting fact about me: I had guinea pigs, but then they died. It's so sad. Yeah, I know how you feel. Won't. So my advice is, when you go to Peru, don't eat guinea pigs if you have a pet guinea pig or had one. But yeah, and just like Colombia, they actually have a doll. They actually make a doll, and then they put old things in it, and then they just light it up, and then to symbolize the burning of the old year and the start of a brand new year. And that's actually pretty interesting. And now we're gonna have traditional Peruvian music with Julio. And so, everyone, before we go on to the music segment, I want to do some clarifications about Peru. Like, yes, Paddington Bear was from Peru, and he went to London, and they also have a statue of it in Peru. And yes, the movie The Emperor's New Groove is about the Incan Empire, and it is in Peru. So yeah, and now we're gonna go on to Peruvian music.
This is some Peruvian music. Peruvian music is mainly played by the flute. Most of it isn't as calm as this, but Peruvian music still is calm.
Here's how you make arroz con pollo peruviano, or Peruvian rice with chicken. Here are the ingredients you need. Here's how you properly and finally make Arroz con Pollo Peruviano. Season the chicken with salt and pepper and fry in a frying pan over a medium heat until seared all over, not cooked inside. Remove the chicken and set aside. Heat a tablespoon of oil in a pot. Lightly fry the onion, garlic paste, and aji amarillo paste, aji pancha paste, and cumin for 2 minutes over a medium heat. Next step, blend the cilantro and then add the cilantro paste. Mix well and let the ingredients cook for another 5 minutes or until the onion is soft. Add the chicken thighs or chicken legs to this mixture of seasoning and cook for 20 minutes or until the chicken is completely cooked inside. Remove the chicken pieces and set aside. Add the rice to the same pot where you cooked the chicken, which still has more seasoning, and add 2.5 cups of chicken stock or water. Mix the ingredients well so the rice is covered with seasoning, otherwise it won't take on its characteristic green tinge. Bring to a boil over a high heat without a lid. As soon as it starts to boil, cover the pot and let the rice cook over a low heat for 15 minutes approximately. In case you're using beer, which we omitted, replace half a cup of water or chicken stock for beer and add it in this step. Allow chicken to cook. Prepare the salsa carola by mixing the julienne red onion, finely chopped limo, chili pepper, parsley, olive oil, lime juice, and salt. Add the cooked carrots and peas. Place a generous portion of rice on each plate on top of a piece of chicken and serve it with salsa shilora. Sorry. and now we're gonna go on to the. Now we're gonna say goodbye. Bye!
Au revoir tout le monde.
And now, as we end, we will do Peru's national anthem!
How is it?
It's a bit spicy. Slight taste of some mint. Nice salt and pepper with the chicken. Some nice rice, some carrots, some peas. Overall, I have to say, we've conquered Peru.
Somos libres, seámoslo siempre, seámoslo siempre, y antes niegues sus luces, sus luces, sus luces, el sol, que faltemos al voto solemne, que la patria al eterno elevó. Siglos anuncie el esfuerzo que ser libres, que ser libres, que ser libres por siempre nos dio. A su sombra vivamos tranquilos y al nacer con sus cumbres el sol, pero vemos el gran juramento que rendimos al Dios de Jacob, que rendimos al Dios de Jacob, al Dios de Jacob. Somos libres.